Hello, you dear one. You have a long day, haven't you? Thank you for setting aside this time for yourself, to come home to your inner self. Before the story begins, let's take a gentle moment to arrive. Right here, right now. There's nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to go. Slowly take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold it softly for a moment, and then exhale through your mouth, letting the day melt away. Again, breathe in calm and breathe out tension. One more time. In, slow and deep. Out, gentle and easy. Now, imagine yourself lying comfortably beneath a quiet winter sky. Above you, the stars are soft and distant, like tiny lanterns glowing in the dark. A cool, peaceful breeze moves gently around you. Carrying the calm scent of night air. You're warm, safe, and completely supported. The ground beneath you feels steady, as if the world itself is holding you. Each breath feels slower now, deeper, heavier. With every exhale, your body sinks further into rest. Your thoughts begin to drift, like clouds passing quietly across the sky. In this calm space, there is nothing to analyze, nothing to fix. Only a story waiting to gently unfold, carrying you towards sleep. One word at a time. Whenever you're ready, let the story begin. It was terribly cold. It was snowing, and it was almost evening. Yes, it was the last evening of the year. In this cold and darkness, a little poor girl was walking along the street. bareheaded and barefoot. It is true she had worn slippers when she left home. But what good were they? They were very large slippers, for her mother had used them before. And the little girl lost them as she hurried across the street, just as two carriages rushed past so quickly that she had to jump out of the way. One slipper she could not find, and the other had been picked up by a boy who ran off with it, saying he would use it as a cradle when he had children of his own. So the little girl went on with her small bare feet, red and blue from the cold. In an old apron she carried a number of matches, and she held a bundle of them in her hand. No one had bought anything from her all day long. No one had given her even a single coin. She walked on, hungry and exhausted, a little wretched creature. Snowflakes fell upon her long yellow hair, which curled so beautifully around her neck. But of such finery she never thought. From every window lights were shining, and there was the delicious smell of roast goose in the air. It was New Year's Eve. Yes, that she remembered. In a corner between two houses, one of which projected farther out than the other, she sat down and crouched together. She drew her little legs close under her, but she grew colder and colder. She dared not go home, for she had not sold any matches, nor earned a single coin, and her father would beat her. Besides, it was cold at home too. They had only the roof over their heads, and the wind whistled through it, even though the largest cracks were stuffed with straw and rags. Her little hands were almost completely frozen with cold. Ah, how a single match might help her. If only she dared take one from the bundle, strike it against the wall, and warm her fingers. She drew one out. Scratch. How it sputtered and burned. It was a warm, bright flame, like a little candle, as she held her hands around it. It was a strange light. The little girl imagined she was sitting before a great iron stove with shining brass knobs and brass rings. The fire burned so cheerfully. It was so warm. But what was this? The flame went out, the stove vanished, and she was left holding the remains of the burnt match in her hand. Her little hands were almost completely numb from the cold. Ah, how a single match might help her. If only she dared take one from the bundle, strike it against the wall, and warm her trembling fingers. She drew one out. Scratch. It caught fire, sputtering and crackling as it burned. The flame was warm and bright, like a tiny candle. She cupped her hands around it. The light felt strange and magical. The little girl imagined herself sitting before a large iron stove with shining brass knobs and glowing brass rings. The fire burned cheerfully, and the warmth spread so gently and sweetly. But then, what was this? The flame suddenly went out. The stove vanished, and she was left holding only the burnt remains of the match in her cold little hand. She struck another match against the wall. This time, the light shone upon the wall before her, and it became as transparent as a thin veil. She could see straight into the room, where a table was spread with a snow-white cloth. On it stood a roasted goose, stuffed with apples and dried plums, steaming fragrantly. And what was still more wonderful, the goose jumped down from the dish, waddled across the floor with knife and fork still stuck in its back, and came straight toward the little match girl. Then the match went out. Nothing remained but the cold, dark wall before her. She struck another match. At once, she seemed to be sitting under a most beautiful Christmas tree. It was far larger and far more splendid than the one she had seen last Christmas through the glass door of a wealthy merchant's house. Thousands of candles burned upon the green branches, and brightly colored pictures, like those she had seen in shop windows, looked down at her. The little girl stretched out her hands toward them, but the match went out. The Christmas lights rose higher and higher, and she saw that they had turned into stars in the sky. One star fell, drawing a long trail of light. "Someone is dying," she whispered, for her grandmother, the only person who had ever loved her, had told her that whenever a star fell, a soul was going up to heaven. She struck another match against the cold wall. The light spread all around, and there stood her grandmother, clear and gentle, radiant and warm. She looked so kind, so loving, and no longer weak or sorrowful. "Grandmother," cried the little one, "take me with you. I know that when this match goes out, you will disappear, just like the warm stove, the delicious roast goose, and the beautiful Christmas tree." So she struck all the remaining matches in the bundle, for she wished to keep her grandmother with her. And the matches burned with a light brighter than daylight. Never before had her grandmother appeared so tall and so beautiful. She lifted the little girl up in her arms, and together they flew upward, upward, above the cold, above hunger and pain, straight into heaven. In the morning, in the corner, the little match girl was found sitting, her cheeks red, her lips smiling, but she was frozen to death on the last night of the year. In her hand were the remains of the burnt matches. No one knew what beautiful visions she had seen. No one knew how happy she had been as she went with her grandmother into the new year in brightness and everlasting joy. And now, as the story gently fades away, allow yourself to rest. May your dreams be kind. May your heart feel light, and may rest come to you easily, like a soft blanket, settling around your soul. Good night, and I'll see you again in the quiet beauty of the next story.